big silence. The big silence.
All right. Welcome to the podcast, MacKenzie Bourg.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm excited to have you. Number one, because I always think about mental health as combining mental health with art, music, connection, movement, sports. And so you being a musician and also connected to my friend Dylan Dunlap that I've known for many years, who is also a mental health advocate. And then Jay, your manager, connected us. So I'm very excited to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Yeah. So you had a sports background. So as I'm combining this, mental health, sports, music, all of this, can we talk about you growing up and your sports background and what came of that?
Yeah, it's funny now. My whole life, was sports. Like since I was a kid, my dad worked in sports for a while. At one point, he was the senior director of like sales and marketing for the entire NBA. So it's like I unfortunately was guided to basketball, and I was like got to a point. I mean, I was very good at basketball. Unfortunately, I stopped growing like
Yeah, I
right
was
around.
going to say, how tall are you?
Yeah, like 5'8", with the right shoes, so it's like I can hold my own with big people, but it's like I knew from the get-go that like when I got to high school, it was just like, all right, so like what am I gonna really do here? So yeah, I my like
So
from when
it wasn't your passion. Would you say it was more of your dad's passion?
no, I mean he definitely steered us to sports. And I played every sport. I like played quarterback in football, um, pitcher, shortstop, middle infielder in baseball. Just like every sport I played hockey until I was like 13 and my parents got divorced and then it became kind of a whole thing. Just so random, so many random things to think about. And I kind of just like I don't know, just randomly picked up music. My mom's brother made like custom electric guitars, like
Yeah.
kind of high-end guitars, and made one for my brother. And I was just kind of like curious, and it just went from there.
So let's talk, since we're talking about mental health. Divorce, your parents divorced at what age?
I was 12,
Okay,
or
that's,
maybe younger than that.
yeah,
Maybe ages don't make sense to me. I was in fourth grade,
yeah. How old are
probably
you
young.
now?
I'm 30,
Okay.
just waiting on the
Um,
beard.
I was like, you look really young. But that's like my husband, Bobby. He's 37 and he looks like he's like 27. He doesn't have facial hair or anything.
Yeah, I played in a golf tournament last week with one of my like best friend's dads, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is one of my son's friends." And this woman was like, "Oh, is that his son?" And I was like, "He's he's 33. I'm 3 years younger than him. What?" She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You look 14." I was like, "Oh, perfect. Thank you."
Awesome.
Yeah,
So, all right. So let's talk about how you moved from, well, actually, I want to go back to you got a virus that
I did.
heavily impacted your life and your sports career. So what is that? And then how did that affect you mentally?
Yeah, that was a really random virus. I was like kind of I weighed like 20 more pounds than I do now. It's like just I was in the best shape probably of my life, like every
Mhm.
day I was working out every day, in the full throttle in the sports life. And then just got this like random virus and shut down all of my organs. I was in like a 9-day induced coma. Um, I like grew up Catholic, and they have like different sacraments, and like what they give predominantly to older people when they're about to pass away is like anointing of the sick. And like so I got that whole deal. I mean, it was like I was pretty much like done for and then wasn't. So I don't know anything of it aside from just kind of like waking up, being like,
Yeah.
oh. But like as far as my parents, my friends, my loved ones, they like all had to experience that and kind of go through that. But yeah, it was a weird.
Right. So your parents, your loved ones were experiencing grief where you're in a coma. And so then you come out and you're like, what just happened? And so what was the work through that?
Yeah, the craziest part was that like we had my basketball team, I'm from Louisiana, and the high school I went to is in Louisiana also. And like where LSU plays their like basketball games and their like big arena, we had this like big game or whatever that like college scouts are going to be at, and I was feeling sick like the week leading up to that, and I like didn't play, and I was taking medicine and like went to different places, and it was all just to kind of like get myself feeling good enough to play in this. And they like the doctors literally told us that like it had I played, like I would have died on the court. Like, and there was like an old basketball player um, where he died on the court, and the same. It would have been the same. There was so much like so many toxins around my heart that like while I was in the hospital, I had congestive heart failure, and it was just like a whole thing. Like my heart literally couldn't pump. Um, so it was just I don't know. Coming out of that, it was kind of a weird time for me. I was fortunate enough to kind of be out of my shell in high school. I was, friends with everyone from the sports people to the theater people to the band, it's like so the high school I went to didn't give out half credits. So I
Mhm.
missed like 4 months of school. So it was just kind of like what is the plan here? Like am I going to go back to high school, homeschooled? And we ended up I just kind of like my occupational therapy was just like going to school for the last 3 hours of the day.
Yeah.
And it didn't count for anything. It was just really to get me, and so I, like, essentially got held back as a 17-year-old, which is not, like, the most ideal situation, but it's, like, thinking about it now, it doesn't even, like, register me register to me as any different than, like, what it was.
Okay, so then you move into music. As a kid, were you writing journals? Were you doing poetry? Like, what is the musical outlet?
I don't know, I was an angry kid, like, my mom will say the same thing, especially, like, I think
So
when
was
my
I. It's okay.
okay, yeah,
I grew up
uh,
I grew up with a mother who was schizophrenic and depressed and in and out of the house. Like I had anger and I had an outlet for that.
yeah,
It was not musical or
yeah.
art. And there I had some like painting and art, but I was a beast.
Yeah, and whether it was just I didn't know how to, process emotions, deal with
Yeah.
emotions. It was, for me, it was like instead of, telling my mom or dad like, "Hey, like this it bums me out
Mhm.
because of this," I would just be like, just like throwing stuff, and it's like it's crazy because like yeah, like a lot of the times relationships don't work out, and especially um in my case, like they were doing the best that they could with what they had at the time. It's like
Yeah.
it's nice to be where I'm at now and be able to kind of like have conversations with them and tell them like thank you for like, everything they did because I'm 30 years old. They had 2 kids at that age, I'm pretty sure.
Isn't that yeah, I think
And it's
about
like
like our parents and then our parents' parents, our grandparents, like how you like I'm 42 and I don't have kids, but I just can't even imagine being at myself at 27, 30 having
right.
kids and being like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna raise you and tell you how to live your life.
Yeah, like I got a dog probably a year ago and I'm like man, this is a big responsibility, and it's like it's
Periwinkle.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's actually I brought him to my mom's house because he's guaranteed to be reckless during this. He's the wildest 10 pounds of dog you've ever seen.
Oh, I know. I have 5 dogs.
Oh my
And
god, that's amazing.
yeah, 5 Pomeranians. They're not in this
No
one.
way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, okay. So back to music and
Yeah.
songwriting. How did you create this to be after sports? Now you're in music. Like, were you writing songs? And what is that? How is that process?
Yeah, when I was like, like 15 or 16, I got my like first guitar and I'm sure it was horrible. I gotta find videos, but I'm, like anything, when you first start it, you're probably pretty bad. Um, and then I like slowly started writing music and we would have this basketball tournament every summer that our team would go to in Florida. And I just brought my guitar. So I was like, oh, the beach, it'll be so sick, you know? And like our coach, like at one point, I remember like our entire team, like the coaches were like in my hotel room, like listening to me play a song. And our basketball coach in high school, I mean, he's like maybe 5'3", you know, and he's just like a ball of energy.
Mhm.
One of the nicest people I know. And I mean, he just became my biggest like cheerleader after that. You know, it was just like the craziest, like, and I was like, okay, so maybe I'm like decent at this. And then it wasn't until I got sick that I started to really take it serious, just because I had like so much time to do nothing,
Mhm.
uh, that it was just like, all right, like I guess you know, I'll do this. And leaving like high school, my senior year, like I had already had a manager based in LA, and kind of just went from there and started to, you know, really pursue it. I didn't really have like a backup plan. I still don't, and it's working
Mhm.
out okay so far. But yeah, it's been like such a long, weird journey so far, and I feel like I still like haven't even gotten started yet.
Yeah.
But that's also something I need to work on, and you know, kind of
But weren't you on
acknowledging.
but you did American Idol, The Voice?
I did,
Like,
yeah, I did The Boys when I was like literally 18. That was
yeah.
the craziest experience. It wasn't a super fulfilling time. I can't imagine it is for most of the people on there. It's more of like it's an amazing show,
Yeah.
and they're definitely gonna, you know, win an Emmy or two every year. But they're cranking out like two of those a year. It's hard to really focus on people not just being molds to like what
Mhm.
you need to fill like parts of the show. Um, Whereas with American Idol, like one of the producers from The Voice switched over for like the farewell season. On Fox at least, and asked me if I would do it, and I was like, ah. Um, so I, you know, got kind of an idea that I'd be able to do things how I'd like to do
Yeah.
them, and for the most part, like I got to, and it was really kind of a place where I could showcase me and who I was, and I also had a better idea of it than when I was 18, and just kind of knowing I was relatively good at singing and playing the guitar. And like when I was 24, 25, I kind of had an idea of who I wanted to be as an artist.
And you got to meet Jennifer Lopez.
I did. Yeah.
How was
Yeah.
that?
It was nice. It was kind of wild to see in
Mhm.
person. Um, just to kind of experience that, and kind of the show took like 3 or 4 months to kind of get through the whole thing. You know, when you start off with the pre-tapes and everything, and it's like, you know, it's a process. But yeah, it was definitely the amount of just people that she has on her team to just like make her look perfect every time. It's impressive.
The amount of people. Yeah, well, that's an important thing to point out too. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god," like celebrities are so
Yeah,
beautiful and stunning, and like it takes a team,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
which is important when you talk about like your mental health as well. So I would love for you to, I was saying one song, but I would love to do two songs. But I want to hear, maybe we can go through a transition and talk about the music and what you were feeling as you were writing it. And
yeah.
then start with Sad Week and then move into something more positive. And
That works. I also
yeah,
have like the really happy song that has a cool story and would be also nice to talk about. So,
okay.
but yeah, with Sad on the Weekend, it was crazy because I wrote that song so long ago with my buddy Will J, and he definitely was a lot more in touch with his emotions and being able to like talk to me and communicate with me to try to get those out. That was, I feel like it's crazy listening back now. It's like I didn't realize for a long time that I was struggling a lot with just anxiety and depression. And you know, you do a show like American Idol and you get put, you know,
Hmm.
on the top of, you know, the world, you know, especially like I feel like something happened with me on the internet where like people just cared for like a lot for some reason. I have no idea why, but like to go from getting like 50,000 likes on an Instagram post to not, like 2 years later, it's like it's an interesting decline that I feel like isn't talked about enough. And even in
Mhm.
cases that aren't that extreme, it's just hard to like continually not like compare it to then, like it's like I
Yeah.
feel like the music I'm making now, especially the stuff I've like just been recording, like is light years away from like Roses, the song that I released that was like on the Billboard charts, and like the song I released after that, like
Mhm.
Little Moon, it's like all over coffee houses, like the new discovery. But it's like I'm not getting the same attention, and it's like hard for me to not want to like wish I would have made these songs sooner. And that was kind of the beginning of me acknowledging it.
Mm.
I feel like up until like a year or so ago, I wasn't even like aware that like I was feeling certain ways because of something.
I can relate to that too. So my company, Tone It Up, I've had for 14 years, and I would say 2013 through, or maybe 2000. I mean, we had a show on Bravo. We did everything. Like we were the only people in the fitness industry doing what we were doing. Boom, boom, boom. Like, and just bringing a community together and connecting with women. It's like, it's still to this day, everyone's like, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, well, I want to keep doing that. And
Right.
how do I? But, my business partner and best friend, resigned recently. So it's that transition of uh, just, it's life transitions, you know? You never know why certain things happen, but you just never give up.
Mhm.
And I've definitely been sad on the weekends sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to have you take us through this musical journey, in this, and then talk about the next song.
Can't remember the last time that I had a good night's sleep. Waking myself up at 4 a.m. grinding my teeth. 7 years in LA, I've been at it, still feels like it's never gonna happen. Tell me, is it not time or is it not for me? Mm, maybe that's just one of the reasons why I'm so sad on the weekend. And all my friends are having fun. I don't wanna see anyone. Let me tell you a secret. I'm sad on the weekend. I only get to see my family when somebody's sick. My little cousin's taller than me now. What did I miss? And I never wrote songs with my brother, even if they're bad, we still be with each other. I'm not home enough to work on relationships. Mm, and maybe that's just one of the reasons why I'm so sad on the weekend. And all my friends having fun. I don't wanna see anyone. Let me tell you a secret. I'm sad on the weekend. I'm sad on the weekend.
Thank you.
Sure.
So, and I'll clap. Everyone listening will clap. Yay. So, okay, so that's your sad song. And most of your songs are more uppity. Maybe. If you're not watching on YouTube, he's like, "Mm." So what was that song that you partnered with IKEA? Is it Good Day? Or what one would you want to sing?
Yeah, that is the one that I was gonna
Yeah.
tell you about, and there's an interesting story with that. Aside from the awesome IKEA thing, the interesting thing about that song is, my grandmother passed away, like, when I like, 2 birthdays ago, so I guess 2 years ago, um, and she was, like, my best friend, like, like, I have Nona tattooed, uh,
No.
on my chest here,
Yeah.
it's, like, on my heart, and she had dealt with, like, heart problems for years, and when I initially came back to Louisiana, like, a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, um, it was, like, every day, I was eating lunch with her and my grandfather, it's like she lived in Verona for, like, the first however many years of her life, you would not think she was American if you talked to her. It's like the accent was just so violently thick, there was just no escaping it. She was, like, 4'8", um, and it came this thing she just, like, loved this song, like, it would be on repeat on her phone, like, she had, like, Spotify on her, like, iPhone 7 or 8 Plus, like, the biggest phone ever, and she just had it on repeat. So, like, it would kind of, like, hit the Spotify algorithm because, like, there would be one person in Lafayette, Louisiana, who played it for literally every day for, like, 5 months, Like, I would come in to the house and I could, like, vaguely hear my voice, and I was just like, "Where does that come what is that coming from?" And, like, she would, like if she couldn't figure out how to get back to Spotify, she would just go to YouTube and type in my name. So then she's listening to some, like, bootleg version of the song that someone else uploaded, just, like, on repeat, and it was incredible. So, like, that song becoming, like, the national campaign for IKEA in Italy, like,
Yeah.
where, like, all of her family still lives and, like, saw it on TV and stuff like that, like, it was kinda just like it made me, like, like, there was, like, a whole day, I think, like, a few days after I found out that I was just I just cried for, like, like, hours, and it was just like, I
Mhm.
don't know if I fully believe in, like, the Christian God, I believe there's something, and it's like, I feel like there had to be a reason why, like, so specifically, IKEA in Italy is the reason that, like, that's my first, like, big major, placement for a song.
Yeah. I love that. Big fan of IKEA, by the way. So that would be cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
especially if my husband was here, he'd be like, yeah. All right, let's hear it.
When I walk outside with my head in the clouds, nothing in this world can bring me down. I know it's a scary place with all these faces. Everywhere I go, I keep singing loud. Oh, 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 mm, oh. It's gonna be a good day. I'm gonna sing all my blues away. Everything's alright when I got you by my side. It's gonna be a good day. Do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do. And when I walk outside, all the birds sing along. You know how to make this old house so. It's been a long, long night. We're gonna be alright. It's gonna be a good day. I'm gonna sing all my blues away. Everything's alright when I got you by my side. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day.
Love it. And yeah, it's going to be a good day, a good weekend. We're not going to be sad this weekend. We're recording this on a Thursday in July. That was beautiful.
I feel like I've done a lot of work on myself because when
Mhm,
I first put out that song, it was like almost reluctantly because I was like,
mhm.
"Oh, it's not cool." It's like it's too happy. It's not moody and edgy. But now it's like just a special song to me for like, the reasons I said. And it's just like, yeah, like every day there's nothing stopping from every day being a good day. Like even if it's
Yeah.
not a, if you, even if it's a bad day, it could still be a good one.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to say, like, your mindset, you can, either be sad or you can just be like, "This is what it is, and I'm gonna have a
Yeah.
good day. This is
Yeah.
life.
The
This
more
is
I
life."
acknowledge like when I'm not feeling awesome, like the easier it is to kind of turn it around.
Yeah, it's like a simple mindset, a switch of thoughts in your head.
Mhm.
Um, Even with Bobby, my husband, he, is on his growth experience adventure, and he's like, "How can you, like, just be positive?" I'm like, "I fucking am so upset right now, but there's nothing I can do. You control what you can."
Yeah.
And that's the thoughts in your head and how you're gonna react to a situation, and you know what? I'm like, "We're gonna have a good day."
Yeah.
That's what IKEA says too.
Yeah.
I love it. So are you performing anywhere live soon?
I am. I'm currently doing a bunch of shows with the Lights Fest.
Yes.
They're kind of like it's a really cool experience. I'm really excited because there's one in September that's like near New Orleans. So like my family has just been seeing videos and pictures that I send them.
Mhm.
So they'll finally all be able to go without having to travel. But it's a music kind of festival, and it's all goes around these amazing like Japanese lanterns. Like I'm sure you've seen them
Yeah.
angled. Um, it's like you light them, and their whole like mantra is letting go, like of whatever you want to let go. It's kind of like an amazing experience. You write down whatever you want to let go of, whether it's grief or just literally anything. And for me, it's fulfilling to obviously just perform live,
Mhm.
at a time where like nothing is really certain. It's nice to be able to have those and do them. But it's just awesome to see so many people there for so many different reasons. There's like a month ago, someone just proposed midway through one of my songs, just right in front. I was like, what is all this cheering all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I like, did some kid just make an incredible frisbee catch? And like, no, it's just people performing. And then, it's like people also going there because, they've been in positions like everyone else has, like they've lost a loved one and they're taking that time to kind of just like let go of it. So it's amazing to see so many people come together for like that experience and to be the person who performs music before they put the lanterns up has been kind of a really nice
Yeah, we'll make sure to put everywhere where you can find MacKenzie Bourg in the show notes and also the lantern event.
yeah, yeah,
I know I haven't been to one yet, but I know like Dylan did a couple out here and we were trying to go, but then we weren't in town. But I'm in Austin, so it's not that far to drive to
oh,
Louisiana.
yeah.
But
I think there's also one in Houston and Dallas. I
yeah, there's
There
been
was one in Austin like 3 months ago.
oh shit, I missed it.
It was
Okay.
freezing. It was a cold time.
Yeah.
I was not prepared at all.
Did you come to that one?
Yeah, it was during South by, and
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
it
So
was
March. Mhm.
yeah, I had to buy a jacket, like the whole 9. Like it was
And now here it's 104 degrees outside right now.
yeah.
And I
I was in
turned my
Dallas.
AC off to record. So anyways, thank you so much for having this conversation and sharing your beautiful music and your story. I appreciate you so much. And when you're in Austin, hit me up.
Will do. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
The big silence. The big silence.